All righty, so, hi Javon, Regina, wait,
Hello.
I can't see anyone on the screen and usually I can, usually that's over there. Who has a question right off the bat? Do you have a question right off the bat? Do you have a question about forms right off the bat or no?
I do.
You do, okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am, ask it.
So my name is Regina Barr and I joined Keller Williams last fall, but I really haven't done anything with Keller Williams and I'm just ramping up now. And I am meeting with a prospect and I would love to know for sure where to find the forms that I need to bring with me to the meeting with a first-time home buyer.
That is a good question. Have you accessed MLS recently?
I've not accessed MLS recently, but I have accessed Command and then and the forms area. I can't remember what that link is. It's
Yeah, the forms
the
are
private area.
Yeah, the forms are in MLS.
Okay, Sarah had sent me a link to kwselectagents.com/documents. So that's what I was looking at. So you're saying that I should instead go to MLS for the forms for a first-time home buyer.
I think it's an easier place to locate them and work with them, especially if you end up having, if you end up doing any execution of those documents. Yes. You can always find the static forms on our website, 100% right location, definitely not wrong. Just I'm going to show you in a second.
You're on your computer.
I'm not on with,
Oh, you're not.
I'm not on with sound or video.
Oh,
I was
That's
just,
why it looks like that. Okay.
and can I get these guys up there? Like how you do for the team
Yeah,
meeting?
I get it.
Okay. Okay, so Regina, can you see what I'm doing on the screen?
Yes, you're going out to, I'm not sure where, but
Yeah,
yes, I
just
do
wanna
see
make
it.
sure you can actually see it. And Javon, this will be a refresher for you. Same thing. Jihan, and your name? Salam. Nice to meet you. I'm Alexis. Okay, so if you want to follow along, do you have MLS access?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Have you worked within it
Yeah.
a little bit?
For Keller Williams, it is something new. I have not been here.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
She joined yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and get to the login page of the MLS. And you log into the MLS and I'm just breaking it down as simple as possible because this is the way I teach everybody to go about accessing forms. So see this link right here? You see where my mouse is pointing?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where you click on the forms. If you were showing a house and you had a property that you were showing specifically, and you wanted to create forms for that property, you would find the property just like this, click on the house itself right there. And then you can actually click on, see this button right here, Minnesota Forms Instanet. You click on the Minnesota Forms Instanet and it actually auto-populates everything about that house into a basically a wizard. See, it says create transaction at the top.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you could say offer, and then you drop down and you do KWS buyer packet. And then it imports the information from the listing that you're pulling. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Now I know I'm going really fast, but everyone else in the class right now has I've gone through that pretty extensively. So if you're familiar with MLS, I would highly recommend you can go from a property, or you can just simply, and I'm going to go out of this now, And I'm gonna go back to just the home page, and I'm gonna click right here on transaction desk, okay? That's where you would go and find the forms. And there's this really great, you can actually go to the home button. And then the add button, where you can create your own transaction from scratch. So what I want you to do is you go to that home button on the left, and then you create the plus button where you said add, and you're like, new buyer packet template. And you're gonna go to KWS residential buyer packet. And you're not bringing in any MLS data. You're just simply using the forms as static by themselves. And then you hit create. And what that essentially does is it pops open the wizard. If you look right here, this word right here is wizard. You're in the wizard. And all you have to do is go to the bottom and hit save and exit. And you are, all of these forms right here are our standard forms for buyers. It's got the buyer representation agreement, it's got the agency disclosure statement, it's got the purchase agreement. So those are all the forms you would need for a new buyer appointment.
Okay, thanks.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, if you want to, you can go ahead and practice with it right now while I continue to work through this class. That's what this whole class is for, is to work through these things. So if you want to practice, stay online with us and pop in when you have a question.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So everyone else that's in class with us, where are we at? What do we want to go over?
Alexis,
Yeah.
I have an issue with like renewing like the agency relationship or buyer disclosure forms. Do I have to do it all over again when like the 180-day expires, or?
Your buyer representation agreement?
Yes.
If it expires, you could start all over again, or you could update the expiration date and have the buyer's initial at the new expiration date.
Okay.
The contract is the only thing that would need to be updated, not necessarily all those other forms.
What do you mean, like the contract?
The buyer
The-
representation contract,
Okay, that has to be.
either totally brand new, start
Uh-huh,
over,
uh-huh.
or you would update the expiration date and have you and your client's initial at the updated expiration date.
Okay, yeah, because I tried to like go into the one I had on MLS, and just there is no place where it says renew or anything like that. So I was wondering,
Is it a buyer representation or a listing?
a buyer representation.
So you have your buyer representation paperwork that you had those buyers sign, right?
Right.
So you need to take that form
Mm-hmm.
and either go in and, handwrite it on the form and then submit it for initials, or
Mhm.
go in and do it electronically. So it's not,
Okay.
it doesn't live on the MLS. Those forms don't live on the MLS.
I see. Okay. Okay.
If you want to start new forms over, you can find all your forms in transaction desk, the place where all the forms live.
Mm-hmm. Just what you did right now,
Yep.
correct?
What
Okay.
I just did, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Javon, do you have anything that you've encountered or come across that you want to review, go over, ask questions about?
Yeah, so for the disclosure statement form on line,
Property disclosure statement?
yep, on
Okay.
line 263. I don't know, could you kind of tell me what that means?
Yeah, I can. Line 263, are you aware if there are currently or have been any orders issued on the property by any governmental authority ordering the remediation of a public health nuisance on the property? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
So it would be remediation is removal of, that's what that word is referring to. So, remediation of a public health nuisance. So it could be like asbestos, it could be lead, could-
okay,
it could be methamphetamine. It could be anything that is a Minnesota Department of Health element of concern. And it needs to be removed, and a government authority is aware of it and gave notice to the property that needs to be removed.
gotcha, okay. Also, so for the lead form, is that required for newer houses too, or only older houses?
1978 and older only.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. Good questions.
You said 1978 and older?
78 and older.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anyone else come across, do I have is that Maritza? Are you on with us? You have to unmute for me to hear you. Okay. Javon, anything else form-wise that you would like me to go over or answer questions about?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm looking through my notes.
All right. Okay. Maritza, just let me know if there's anything that you want or need help with. I'm not leading any particular specific subject matter. I am just answering questions, going over forms, helping you find stuff, navigate MLS, navigate Authentisign, our website, whatever it might happen to be. So if you have any questions, you can either put them in the chat or you can go ahead and unmute and ask. Same thing for you, Jihan, if you have anything else besides that buyer representation document.
Okay.
Javon, did you find your notes?
Well, I do have one question. How would you know the age of your roof?
Well, if they've lived in the house, if the sellers have lived in the house and the roof had been replaced in that duration, they would know that. Then the second step would be going back, and when they bought the house, they would have been provided that information in the disclosure statement when they bought the house, potentially. And other than that, I don't have any suggestions for you. Then it may be unknown. Either
Right, okay.
Or yes, I don't, that's a good one, because for a while we didn't have the waiver, disclosure waiver. And so when the waiver came along, that basically reduces any need for anyone to disclose the age of the roof. And so we're probably going to have less information being shared out there about ages of roofs as people have used that waiver more in the last couple of years. But let's just assume that when your sellers bought their home, if they didn't put on a roof in the time they've lived there, there is a section of the MLS input that says, is the roof less than 8 years old or more than 8 years old? And so you could potentially say, if it said more than 8 years old and they've lived there 4 years, you could say more than 12 years old. But it's a piecemeal of information. So there's not necessarily like a master list of ages of roofs of homes in Minnesota or anything like that.
Okay.
I just want to know how to cook me lunch. That's his food heating up. And every time I teach a class, he's heating up his food. And I'm like, yeah, I'd eat that right now. Smells like some broccoli and chicken.
That's exactly what it is.
Javon, what else? It sounds like you're listing a home or thinking about it or just being thorough in your research.
Yeah, just being thorough. I came across some of these, so I just put them in my notes and asking them.
Good job. Good for you. I love that. that like sets my soul on fire because you should be prepared because you don't know what you're gonna encounter, right? So you're asking these questions before you need them. Way to go. Good job.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Regina, how are you doing with navigating, finding the paperwork and the buyer docs?
So I'm not, I mean, I found the forms, but I wasn't finding it the way that you had said to go into, I didn't see this Minnesota Forms. I don't know if it was Instanets or what I wrote down here, but then when I click on I see, yep, I clicked on that. See where you go here.
And it comes up on your dashboard.
Yep, and then I went over to the house on the left.
Good. I'll do that next. Yep.
And then I was looking for where you had entered in add new buyer packet and, oh, hello.
It's okay.
was-
I know I went super fast. You got most-
Sorry, I
No,
didn't
no
see that little
apologies.
guy there.
in here. So then it pops
Okay.
up this window. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. and then
Sorry.
it's- No, please don't apologize. See the drop down there, residential buyer packet?
Okay, now I don't, hold on, let me just. I'm seeing a drop down, but let me go back because maybe. I see. Oh, gosh. Okay, so when I went to, and I didn't see that drop down there, but maybe I'm going too fast. I'm gonna go to add.
So when it says create transaction at the top,
Yep,
then it says name, and that's your opportunity to name this transaction.
yep, and I put new buyer packet like you recommended.
So you could do new buyer packet, or you could even say, you know, the Smith family buyer packet, or the Gomez family buyer packet.
Okay,
So you could be
so
more
customize it. Yep, okay,
customize it. There is an elevated level that you can go to that when you, I don't want to go there yet because I just want you to find the paperwork. I want to
I
help.
found it.
You
I
found
see, I'm tracking with you now.
Okay, you're tracking. Okay, perfect. Okay.
So then when it says use the wizard, then you leave that box checked and then just click the create. And then I'll
Yeah,
just do it and see where it takes
hit
me.
that, and then you hit create, and then it brings you to what I created right here, which is this new buyer packet. And then all of these forms, see forms, how it says forms right here?
Yes,
It auto populates all those forms. And if you click on go to forms right here,
move your scroll again to go to forms. Oh, okay. So I see all the forms. I have it on the right-hand side now. It populated a bunch of stuff into my, it's on my agent dashboard. Is that where you are right now? Or are you still at?
I'm in the new buyer packet. I'm in.
You are, okay. So I'm there now, so I'll click that open and I'll just, okay, so now I'm seeing,
So you were here before, agent dashboard, right?
yep, and so I clicked on back onto the little house icon and then I saw the
And then you got the
packets.
New buyer
Yep.
packet. Yep. And then the next step is you go to forms. Right here.
Yes, so
Click
hold
on
on, let me go to forms, yep.
And it brings up the window of all your forms. And you can do a couple of things from here. If you click here, you can see it says select all.
Mm-hmm.
If you select all, then the basket's full. It fills the basket.
Okay,
Click the basket, and then from here is where you can print all of those forms.
okay,
Or that's just blank forms. Or you can go into each form and fill them out electronically. And every time you hit tab, it goes to the next spot that needs to be filled out,
Okay,
okay? Or
Mhm.
save and exit, get back out, or you can go into this wizard right here, see wizard?
yes,
And see dashboard and details.
yes,
If you go into, that's your dashboard. If you go into the wizard, you can actually fill in step 1 of 5, step 2 of 5, if you actually were writing an offer, strip
Okay.
3 of 5 is contacts. This is where you could add a new transaction contact where you would be putting a buyer, and then you would say, buyer 1, email@email.com. And then you'd say, add the other buyer, new transaction contact. And it's a buyer, and that's buyer 2 at buyer.com. And see how it says add to address book?
hmm
This is you putting them into the transaction, so then you can actually go to the next stage and you have all your forms. And if I go to representation contract, everywhere where it says buyer, see how it filled in buyer 1 and buyer 2 for me?
hmm
So it fills it in automatically if you use the wizard.
okay,
And that's this right here, the wizard.
at what point do you add a prospect into this, right? Like, so the person I'm meeting with today has indicated an interest in thinking about buying a new home. She's lives in an apartment, she'd be first-time home buyer. At what point would you put them in versus just, taking and printing out the agency relationship, at what point would you say, like, once they say, yeah, I want to move forward?
So number 1, the agency relationship should be with you at all times. So that's a great way of looking at it. Print it out, have it with you, bring it with you everywhere. Because agency relationship should be signed at first substantive contact.
hmm
The rest of the forms you could also have with you. You can go over them with the buyer. I even would show them a purchase agreement. You could give them a copy of a purchase agreement to take with them to review at their own leisure. To you, it somewhat depends on how you want to approach your buyer presentation and how much you want to show them or not. I put people in the system when they're ready to write an offer.
Okay,
But that's the MLS. When I'm going to meet with someone, I put them into my CRM and I use Command.
yep, okay. That's what I was thinking, that this person, belongs more in command, because I think there's going to be nurturing here.
Sure. And depending on your comfort level, you could fill out everything with that buyer's name on it and hand it to them and say, when you're ready, these are the things we're going to go over and review to help you prepare to buy a house. These are the contracts that exist between you and me. These are disclosures that you just need to be aware of. And this is what a purchase agreement looks like. And you're welcome to look at it to see what it looks like. So when I send you the purchase agreement with an offer, it's not the first time you see it.
Okay,
But that's a choice that you can make on how you want to handle that.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep playing around in the system, and hopefully you can navigate it easy enough so that you understand how it works. And I think everyone else on the meeting right now that we've gone through this, it's like, it really helps the more you practice. Can anyone else attest to that? Jihan, have either one of you used it enough where you feel like the more you play with it and play around in the system, it helps you understand?
It
Yeah,
does.
definitely.
Yeah. It's you have to go on it several times to actually get it. Otherwise it gets frustrating if you wait a while and not use it.
Right, so that's a great point, and thank you for saying that. I personally think that you should practice putting together buyer paperwork at least once a month, once a week would be great, because if you practice that once a week, just opening it up and creating a new buyer file. I think you should practice your market analysis for listings once a week. And I think you should preview 5 homes a week that are for sale in the market that you can go in and look at. Because then you're practicing with the MLS, you're practicing with Instanet and Authentisign, and you're in the market looking at homes. And you can just pick a house and do a market analysis. It does not have to be a house that isn't for sale. It could be for sale. You could pick a house and do a market analysis to determine what you think the list price should be, and then compare it to the list price, because you may not know this, but when you meet with sellers, sometimes they pick the list price. Sometimes the agent doesn't. Sometimes the agent gives the information to the sellers and says their home is worth 300,000, and they say, well, I want to list at 350. And you have to make the decision if you want to allow, take the listing at 350, even though you know, based on your research, it's only worth 300. And by the way, any of you on the call right now, we are scheduled to have these meetings every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And I am more than happy if you want to participate in my little suggestions, where I'll give you an address to do a market analysis on, and I'll go through them with you next week.
I think that'd be awesome to see.
Okay. If you want to do that and you plan to be there next week, then I want you to message me that you're going to be there next week and you want to do the project or to do the market analysis, and then I'll text you the address. Do you want me to put my phone number on the board?
I have your phone number.
That's the right answer. Good. So Javon, for you too, Maritza, Regina, any of you that you want to participate in doing a practice analysis, better to do it with a partner and review your results. So I'm happy to do that with you. So text me that you're interested and I'll bring it to the class next week and we can walk through it. We can do a practice market analysis next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome.
I have a question. For the single family showing instruction form,
Yeah.
does that get uploaded to the MLS, or do you give that to your client, or how does that work?
Good question. Awesome. So that is more for me, the way I do my business is that is an opportunity for me to discuss with the seller how we should go about scheduling showings. Who should be contacted about, based on who lives there, or do they own it? Do they rent there? Do they live there? Who should be contacted? How should they be contacted? So email, phone call, text message. And sometimes you don't have all those pieces of info. You don't have their email, or you don't have their cell number. Maybe, maybe not. So you're gathering that info. You're asking them things like, or you're saying things like, most showings don't start before 8 a.m. They don't go past 9 p.m. at night. Do we have any limitations or restrictions? I'd suggest you don't require any notice, but would you like to set a minimum 1 hour notice required? I always tell people that they need to remove their shoes, turn off the lights. Is there any other special showing instructions that we want to put in showing time? So
Right.
that form right there is, for me, a discussion opportunity.
Got it. Cool.
And it's a great way to queue up the questions that you need to ask to help a seller prepare to put their home on the market.
Okay.
Alexis,
Yes.
for when doing a purchase agreement for an offer, and the buyer wants the what do you call it, the down payment assistant,
Yep.
we do have to put it on the purchase on the offer, correct?
So are they approved with down payment assistance with their lender?
Yes.
Okay, so then the lender can help answer that question more specifically. So here we are on the purchase agreement.
Mhm.
And this is where we get to financing. This is page 2. So you would hit, this purchase agreement is subject to financing. And there is not any indication anymore that we have to say down payment assistance is part of it. So first
Oh,
mortgage and conventional, or first mortgage and FHA.
FHA, yeah.
So you just indicate what it is. You are not required to put if there's down payment assistance, because the forms committee made that change. The purchase agreement used to be different. We used to disclose that information.
Mhm.
And the forms committee felt that there was potentially some negative perspective on down payment assistance programs. So they got rid of that requirement.
I see. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I don't see it anymore. Okay.
Yep. Yep. It changed. Our forms always change August 1st.
Okay.
And so we just went through the forms change.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Regina, with your buyer that you're meeting with, have you prepared yourself to talk to them about communicating with or connecting with a lender?
Yes, I think that's going to be a big thing. I also think there's going to be some coaching around, putting together a budget and some other things, but
Good. Good. Well, anything that you need, again, this class happens every Wednesday at 1:00. So you can bring your questions. You can also reach out, but I will tell you that the communication process in our office is that typically you're routed to the agent of the day first. And then secondarily, it'll come to me if the agent of the day can't help you. But that's why I'm having these classes once a week, so we can get back together and talk through like, oh, I came up across this question, or I'm reading the contracts and this happened. So just let me know if you come across any questions or issues. And Regina, with your buyer that you're going to be talking to, find a lender to partner with that can help with establishing a budget and establishing some guidelines on what it's going to take to buy a house.
yes, I have been working to build some relationships. I also am trying to get something scheduled with, I guess it's the 2 Toms. I don't know their last names that are affiliated with Keller Williams too. So
Good.
then they'll have some options.
Yeah, maybe they will. They'd be great to connect with. If depending on how that goes, you're always welcome to put, you can reach out to anyone in the market center that has established business and lots of relationships to say, who would you work with in this particular situation? I have a
Okay.
lender that I work with Fairway Mortgage. He's amazing. He does credit repair. He does budget establishment. I mean, he does a lot of nurturing with, and he knows all the first time home buyer programs too. So,
Okay.
don't be scared of ask people for relationships, because it doesn't hurt my business at all to connect you with a lender I work with.
Okay.
Alexis, can you send us that lender?
Sure. Can you text me? It's the easiest way for me to make sure that I'm giving people what they want. So text me that you want the CMA address, and text me that you want that lender info, and I will send it to you. No problem at all.
Will do. Okay.
All right. Any other
Okay.
questions about forms?
No, this was very helpful. Thank you, Alexis.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Alexis.
Awesome. Maritza, did you have any other questions or anything that you would like me to prepare to better help you even next week at next week's session? Okay. Don't hesitate to text me. Let me know what I can bring. Because I can start all over again. I can do whatever you guys want or need, because I don't know what that is unless you tell me, okay?
Will do.
Awesome. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.